the latest. Thank you for your love and support. I appreciate you all. Those who are liking, sharing, commenting, I say thank you so much. My super thanks gifters, my kings and queens, my VIP, all those who are supporting anonymously, I say thank you so much for the love you are showing to the channel. Africa, we are preaching for unity, and we can only show ourselves how we love ourselves when we are in need, by helping each other out. Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso decided to form the AES alliance, and they are showing to the African how things must be done as one people. We have seen what Mali is facing currently in the hands of these people. So Niger said they can never sit down to watch Mali in pain, because when they were also in pain, Mali stood up. So they decided to offer Mali 82 hydrocarbon tankers, because Mali has been facing this fuel crisis in Bamako, because the bad people are not allowing the fuel tankers to arrive in Bamako without them attacking them. Niger is saying that because of what Mali and Burkina Faso did for them when ECOWAS decided to invade them, they can never allow Mali to be suffering, and they wouldn't do anything to help them. And that Mali is the head of the AES alliance. We are seeing this revolution in Africa because of our all-in-all General Assimi Goïta. And for that reason, they will do everything possible to support them now that they need the help the most.
Solidarity and action within the AES Confederation. Niger offers 82 hydrocarbon tanks to Mali. After a 1,400 kilometers journey between Gamay and Bamako, the combat vehicles, under good escort of the Unified Defense and Security Forces of the Sahel, were received by the Minister of Industry and Trade Moussa Alassane Diallo on Saturday, November 22, 2025. A gesture full of symbols that reflects the spirit of solidarity and action between the countries of the Confederation of Sahel states linked by history and geography and who have decided to join forces to face the common challenge. It also demonstrates the gratitude of the Nigerian people towards their Malian brothers for their support at the time in the face of the threat of an intervention by ECOWAS. Remember, a year ago, Niger was threatened with attack by ECOWAS because Niger decided to take control of its own affairs. ECOWAS decided to attack Niger violently. Mali stood up, Burkina Faso stood up, Guinea stood up to say no to the Sidiwa aggression. It was a wonderful moment that Niger has never forgotten. Niger is grateful to Mali and its leaders. And in accordance with this gratitude, Nigeria also decided to provide fuel to Malians as a priority to help them cope with the ordeal that Mali is currently going through in a few days here in Bakoy. Minister Moussa Alassane Diallo praised the Nigerian authorities for their spirit of solidarity, which was the motto of the AES Confederation. On behalf of the President of the Republic of Niger, Head of State and Armed Forces, Assimi Goïta, we would like to express our sincere thanks and gratitude to the President of the Republic of Niger. As head of state, these 90 tankers will certainly contribute to improving our country's supply of petroleum products, but also and above all to reducing the suffering of our people. This donation also reflects the shared destiny of Mali, Burkina Faso and Niger. That is why, Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Niger, Head of State, Constable Abdrahman Chani, your generosity inspires the people of Niger and motivates them even more to mobilize, to be determined, to ensure the destiny and sovereignty of our people. It was a grateful minister who greeted the drivers and their apprentices who transported this fuel to Bamako. It was a team that ensured the transport of these 90 tankers to Bamako, of course the armed forces of Niger, but also the drivers and apprentices. That is why I would particularly like to salute all the drivers and their apprentices who were part of this mission for their courage, commitment, determination and, above all, their dedication to contributing to resolving the hydrocarbon crisis in our country. Every step counts in managing this crisis. Every step counts and every step must be applauded and recognized. That is why I wanted to recognize the great strides that have been made by the drivers and apprentices. With its active solidarity, Niger is thus proving to the world that the AOS Confederation remains united and resilient in the face of diversity in all its forms.
This is how Africans we need to be helping ourselves, because we are one people. The time that Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso decided to take their sovereignty into their own hands, and we needed ECOWAS to back and support them, ECOWAS turned its backs on Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso, and they were even ready to wage war against Niger for deciding to join the AES alliance for fighting for freedom. And this is not how Africans we're supposed to be. If truly we are saying that we are fighting for freedom, we want to be on our own, then we are the ones that need to help ourselves when we are rising to fight oppression. ECOWAS is just watching other people taking the resources in Niger. Look at the uranium. Yet Niger was sleeping in darkness, and ECOWAS couldn't come together to fight to set Nigerians free. But the moment Nigerians rose up to set themselves free, we saw that ECOWAS was quick to intervene, and they were ready to unalive their brothers simply because they've decided to choose the path of freedom. And recently we saw the African Union that did not even go to Niger or Mali or any of these nations to see what is happening, is rather calling for intervention in Mali. And the Malians were shocked because AU never visited these people just to see how they are faring, but they were able to act based on the news that they heard from the Western media, which is not how things must be. African Union is a failed organization, because if your people are reported in the media that they are facing this, we expect African Union to go there to see what is happening to the people of Mali. But they didn't do that. They rather fuel everything by calling on international body to come and intervene. Why should we be here and be calling on international body in the affairs of Africa when we have an organization called African Union? Other nations do not involve us, or continents do not involve us in their affairs. But Africa is the only continent that we are still allowing other people to see us as children, as incapable of taking care of our affairs, because already these are the same people who told us that the African is not capable of managing his own affairs. And we are proving this by what African Union did. Besides, what Mali is facing is not a crisis like the way they are preaching it in the media. People are attacking them, making sure that these things, they don't receive them, so that there will be chaos in the capital, so that the people can rise against our all-in-all General Assimi Goïta. And if African Union is a union that is preaching for African freedom and African liberation every blessed year in their summit, we expect African Union to see how best they will work with the African countries to set ourselves free, or to solve the problems of Africa. If you are still sitting down calling other people to intervene to solve the problems of Africa, then we wonder what kind of an organization is African Union. This is an organization that is talking about African solution for African problems. But why is it that this organization isn't ready to help the African solve its problems? Why do we have the military here? Why is it that when we have problems, our leaders do not come together to sort the problem out? This organization has even sanctioned Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. Like Captain Ibrahim Traore one time said, they don't even know whether they are still part of this organization. Why African Union was quick in calling for international intervention in Mali is a problem, making it look as if they are so concerned about Africa. You are not, because if truly you are concerned about the things that are happening in Africa, we would have expected you to go to Mali to see things for yourself, and not to sit down to act based on Western propaganda. And Africa unity is the only thing that can set us free. And we should be ready to help ourselves out when one nation is in trouble. That is what we call the unity. If you should sit there and make it look like other nations' problem belong to them, then what are we talking about as Africans? Always calling for unity among ourselves. Then it's not going to be possible. And that is what is happening in Africa. That is what is happening in Africa, because our leaders always make sure that they look ajar. They just don't care about what is happening in another man's country. And that is why we are seeing our leaders closing their eyes towards what is happening in Sudan, in Congo, instead of them to be vocal to fight like they did in the UN Security Council for other nations, we've seen that our leaders are always quiet when it comes to African problems. We are always thinking about the leader sorting him or herself out, which is not the best if we want to move forward as a continent. And if what we are preaching for unity in African Union, in SADC, ECOWAS, and other sub-regional organizations, then we need to wake up as a people. Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso are just fantastic because they walk the talk. Unlike these ones that love themselves when they are reading their speeches. That is not what Africa will need at this moment. And we are so glad that we have Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso showing other leaders in Africa what they are supposed to do to set the African free. These people are not ready to learn the good things from them, but they are quick in telling us how they want to intervene and how they want them out of office. We are the only ones that can set ourselves free. United we stand, divided we fall, and united we keep standing forever and ever. The greatest enemy of the African is mental slavery. So let's decolonize ourselves from mental slavery. Let's keep sharing to educate our brothers and sisters. Together we make Africa great for ourselves and the next generations that are going to come. So that's the latest around the world, in Africa, West Africa, and in Niger.